Podcasting to the universe.
From the top of Mount Wack.
Live with no pants.
Here's Zack Wack.
Greetings, my excellent friends. It is I, the always dapper podcast babbler, your daddy-o blog from the radio, and the monkey on the mic here running that semi-professionally trained tongue of mine. I am Zachary Ernesto Wackalina III, but you can call me Zack the Wack.
Morning's here, it's time to rise. Wipe the sleep from your sweet eyes. The sun is up, the sky is blue, and here we are to sing to you. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, beautiful people. How you doing? Welcome to those of you from Gothenburg, Nebraska, or is it Gothenburg? To Foley, Minnesota. New Fairview, Texas, to Groveland, Florida, and all around the world. This is the often secluded, never diluted, always wacky, never tacky, hot rockin', flame-throwing DeWack in the morning show. Live from the low-rent, sleazy, and measly Raymond Jam and Nut Hut Studios at the DeWack Shack Broadcast Megaplex at Peachtree Industrial on the outskirts of Atlanta, Georgia, here in FEMA Region Number 4. Live out of Studio F today. Last time I checked, it's Friday, May the 29th, 2026. We got this day in history, this day in music, fun facts, the horrible scopes, stupid news, and that celebrity birthday list. Here are the holidays and observances for today. Globally, it is International Day of United Nations Peacekeepers, honoring UN peacekeepers who serve around the world. And then here in the States, we celebrate its National Biscuit Day, Paperclip Day, learn about Composting Day, it's Pink Flamingo Day, it's Fridge Day, World Digestive Health Day, End of the Middle Ages Day, and European Neighbors Day, which falls on the last Friday in May, and that would be today. So, nothing exciting. Moving on.
Happy birthday.
Here's your birthday list for today. John F. Kennedy, born this day in 1970. He would have been 109. 35th President of the United States. Camelot, Crisis, Charisma, and hair that probably had its own Secret Service detail.
Happy birthday!
Bob Hope, born this day in 1903. He would have been 123. Comedy legend, movie star, and the king of entertaining the troops. Basically did USO shows before half of us figured out how to work a microphone.
Here's today your birthday list.
And Patrick Henry, born this day in 1736, he would have been 290. Founding father, famous for give me liberty or give me death. Which is also what I say when Wi-Fi buffers during a podcast upload. All right, Paul Skenes turns 24, Major League Baseball pitcher. Throws heat so nasty, the catcher probably files a noise complaint. Actress, producer, and Elvis Presley's granddaughter, Riley Keough, born this day in 1989. She's 37. That's not pressure, that's being born with a jukebox in your family tree. NBA legend and scoring machine Carmelo Anthony, born this day in 1984. He is 42. Yeah, he could drop 30 points in a phone booth while arguing about hoodie season. Mel B, she's Scary Spice from the Spice Girls. She's 51.
Yo, tell you what I want, what I really
Still scary, still spicy, and more energy than a toddler with espresso. Actress and producer known for Orange is the New Black, Laverne Cox, turns 54. Trailblazer powerhouse and proof that confidence can walk into a room before you do. Oasis guitarist and songwriter Noel Gallagher is 59. He wrote Wonderwall and then spent the next few decades making sure nobody at a party could escape it. Rock singer-songwriter Melissa Etheridge turns 65. She's got one of those voices that sounds like it was aged in a barrel behind a dive bar, in the best possible way. British actor, known for My Best Friend's Wedding and making dry sarcasm look like a luxury brand. Rupert Everett is 67. Oscar-nominated actress and Hollywood royalty Annette Bening turns 68. She brings class to every role, even when the rest of us are watching in sweatpants eating gas station nachos. Toya Jackson turns 70, singer, TV personality, and another branch of the Jackson family tree. A tree so famous it probably had its own publicist. Composer behind the Simpsons theme, Batman, Beetlejuice, and about 900 spooky sounds living rent-free in your brain. Danny Elfman turns 73. And the oldest Jackson sibling, Rebbie Jackson, turns 76 years young today. Yeah, when your family includes Michael, Janet, LaToya, and Tito, the Thanksgiving seating charts must have looked like a Motown contract dispute. All right, and today we remember Jeff Buckley. He passed away at the age of 30 in 1997, a singer and songwriter known for his haunting version of Hallelujah. One of those voices that could make a room go quiet faster than someone saying, "We need to talk." In 2008, we lost Harvey Korman at age 81, actor and comedy legend from The Carol Burnett Show and Blazing Saddles, a man who could steal a scene just by trying not to laugh in it. In 2010, Dennis Hopper passed away at the age of 74, actor, director, and counterculture icon from Easy Rider, Blue Velvet, and more. Hollywood rebel, professional wildcard, and a man who looked like he had personally argued with the 1970s. Betsy Palmer passed away in 2015 at age 88, actress known to horror fans as Mrs. Voorhees in Friday the 13th. Sweet TV personality turned horror legend. Proof that mom energy can get terrifying real quick. And former Panamanian military ruler Manuel Noriega passed away in 2017 at age 83. A controversial figure whose life story had politics, power, prison, and enough scandal for a 10-part documentary. And passing away in 2021 at the age of 90, actor known as Captain Stooping on the Love Boat, Gavin MacLeod. He made cruise ships look charming before buffet lines became a contact sport. And last on the list here, B.J. Thomas, a singer of Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head and Hooked on a Feeling. He passed away in 2021 at the age of 78.
And today we remember you.
And there you go.
Here's what happened on this day, as if you cared.
All right, here's your May 29th, this day in history, because apparently, while we were trying to remember where we left our coffee, history was out there changing the world. In 1943, on this day, Ottoman forces captured Constantinople after a long siege, marking the end of the Byzantine Empire. Big deal in world history, the kind of event teachers call civilization shifting, while students call it, "Is this going to be on the test?" Yeah, they didn't just change governments, they basically hit reset on the world map. In 1790, Rhode Island finally ratified the Constitution and joined the United States. Yes, the smallest state was the last of the original 13 to jump in, because even back then, Rhode Island was like, "I'll get there when I get there." In 1848, Wisconsin officially joins the United States. American gained dairy, cheese curds, Green Bay Packers fans, and people who can survive weather that would make a snowman file a complaint. Wisconsin joined the country and immediately asked, "Where do we plug in the deep fryer for the cheese?" In 1914, the ocean liner RMS Empress of Ireland sank in the Gulf of the St. Lawrence after a collision, killing more than 1,000 people. It remains one of Canada's deadliest maritime disasters. A tragic reminder that history isn't always funny. Sometimes it's just heartbreaking and humbling. In 1919, Einstein's theory gets tested during a solar eclipse. A solar eclipse allowed scientists to test Albert Einstein's theory of general relativity. The result helped make Einstein world famous because apparently the universe looked at his homework and said, "Yeah, this guy gets it." Yeah, most of us use an eclipse to stare in the sky without cardboard glasses. Einstein used it to bend space and time. Damn overachiever. In 1953, Edmund Hillary of New Zealand and Sherpa Tenzing Norgay became the first confirmed climbers to reach the summit of Mount Everest, the world's highest mountain. Yeah, they climbed Everest with old school gear. Meanwhile, I need emotional support to bring groceries in the house in one trip. In 1973, Tom Bradley becomes the first black mayor of Los Angeles, a major moment in American political history. Politics got a new chapter and probably immediately started arguing about traffic. On this day in 1999, NASA's Space Shuttle Discovery completed the first shuttle docking with the International Space Station. That helped kick off a new era of people living and working in space. Yeah, humanity looked at Earth and said, nice place, but what if we built an apartment above it? In 2004, the National World War II Memorial was dedicated in Washington, D.C., honoring the Americans who served and sacrificed during the war. A powerful tribute to the greatest generation, people who saved the world and still somehow knew how to fix their carburetor. And in 2005, 23-year-old Danica Patrick becomes the first female driver to take the lead in the storied Indianapolis 500. And in 2014, Laverne Cox, the transgender actor and advocate, best known for her Emmy-winning performance on Orange is the New Black, appears on the cover of Time magazine's June 14th issue for their story, The Transgender Tipping Point. The moment is widely cited as a turning point for transgender representation in mainstream media. And that's your This Day in History for May 29th. From falling empires to riotous ballets to Everest climbers, space stations, and Wisconsin bringing cheese to the party. History proving once again that every date on the calendar has receipts. And now it's time for This Day in Music History, where we prove that while some people made timeless classics, the rest of us were just trying to untangle our earbuds. On May 29th, 1913, Igor Stravinsky's ballad and orchestral work, The Rite of Spring, premiered in Paris. That's Paris for you American folks. And the audience reportedly went absolutely bonkers. Classical music got so intense, people acted like somebody just cut the buffet line. That's when you know your music hits hard, when the violins start and the crowd says, "Who wants smoke?" On May 29th, 1942, Bing Crosby recorded Irving Berlin's White Christmas with the John Scott Trotter Orchestra and the Ken Darby Singers. It became one of the most famous holiday recordings ever, and it was recorded in under 20 minutes. 20 minutes? Some people can't even pack a lunch order in that time. Bing just walked in and accidentally made Christmas immortal. In 1962, at the Grammy Awards, Chubby Checker's Let's Twist Again won Best Rock and Roll Recording.
Let's twist again, like we did last summer. Yeah, let's twist again, like we did last year.
Ray Charles also won for Hit the Road Jack, while Henry Mancini's Moon River was named Record of the Year. That's a big night. Twisting, Moon Rivers, and Ray Charles telling Jack to pack a bag. Yeah, the Grammys had drama before Auto-Tune even had a login.
Help me, Rhonda, yeah, get her out of my home.
In 1965, the Beach Boys' Help Me Rhonda reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It became their second chart topper and stayed at the top for 2 weeks. That song is basically a sunburn with harmonies. You hear it once and you're suddenly wearing flip-flops indoors. On May 29th, 1982, Paul McCartney's Tug of War began a 3-week run at number 1 on the Billboard 200. It was his first solo album after Wings and featured the Stevie Wonder duet Ebony and Ivory.
What with one thing and another, it's a tug of war.
McCartney left Wings, went solo again, and still landed at number 1. Some people reinvent themselves. Paul just changes the band name and keeps collecting trophies. And releasing in 1984, Tina Turner's Private Dancer. This was Tina Turner's massive comeback album with What's Love Got to Do with It, Better Be Good to Me, and Private Dancer. Yeah, Tina did make a comeback. She kicked the door open in heels and made the door apologize. In 1995, Pink Floyd's live album was released in the UK on May 29th and later in the US on June 6th. It included a live performance of The Dark Side of the Moon. It came in that famous blinking light CD case, because apparently even the packaging needed a light show. In 2009, record producer Phil Spector was sentenced for the murder of actress Lana Clarkson. Spector, who had been one of pop's music's most influential producers, famous for the wall of sound, but his legacy became permanently overshadowed by the crime. A dark chapter in music history, proof that legendary studio work does not erase real-world consequences. And Lady Gaga released Chromatica on May 29, 2020, returning hard-to-dance pop and house-inspired sounds with tracks like Stupid Love and Rain on Me. The world was locked down, and Gaga said, fine, then we dance in the kitchen. In 2024, a famous 12-string hootenanny acoustic guitar used by John Lennon during the Help era sold at auction for $2.9 million, making it the most expensive Beatles instrument ever sold at auction at the time. Yeah, $3 million for a guitar. For that price, it better play Yesterday, make coffee, and explain why the Beatles broke up. All right, and that's your This Day in History for May 29th. From classical riots and Christmas classics to Beach Boys harmonies, Beatle bucks, and bluegrass legends. Music history, where one day you're twisting again, and the next day someone's selling a guitar for the price of a small island. There you go. All right, now looking back at movie releases for May 29th. In 1961, Sidney Poitier, Ruby Dee, and Claudia McNeil starred in this powerful film adaptation of Lorraine Hansberry's play A Raisin in the Sun. Serious, important cinema, the kind of movie where nobody says, let's just throw in a talking dog for the kids. In 1963, Paul Newman starred in this Western drama, HUD. Yeah, Newman was so cool in this thing, even the dust probably asked him for an autograph. Jumping all the way to 1992, Whoopi Goldberg in Sister Act went undercover in a convent and somehow made nuns, Vegas, gospel choirs, and organized crime work in the same movie. Yeah, the only movie where witness protection came with robes and harmonies. In 2009, Pixar released Up domestically on this day. It opened huge and became one of Pixar's most beloved movies. Also, it emotionally destroyed adults in the first 10 minutes. Thanks, cartoon balloons. In 2015, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson battled earthquakes, collapsing buildings, and basic geology in San Andreas. It opened number 1 at the domestic box office that weekend. Now, The Rock versus a fault line. Finally, a disaster movie where the buildings should have tapped out. And then scheduled for release today, Backrooms. This A24 horror sci-fi thriller is based on the creepy internet backrooms concept. Basically, what if your childhood fear of empty office carpet became a movie? Also releasing today, The Breadwinner. Not to be confused with your uncle who pays for dinner once and brings it up every Thanksgiving. And also releasing today, Power Ballad, listed as a limited release here on my notes. Paul Rudd and Nick Jonas in a musical comedy? That sounds like a karaoke night, got a production budget.
It's time for stupid news. Not made up, it's really real. So listen now to these damn fools. Oh, yeah.
All right, I've searched far and wide. I've searched the internets, the outernets, the underwebs, and the interwebs. This, my friends, is stupid news. Headline: The Frog in the Salad Bag. An Australian farmer was making steak and salad when he opened a sealed bag of lettuce and found a frog inside. His roommates didn't believe him at first because apparently there's a frog in the lettuce. Sounds like something your uncle says after 3 beers at a barbecue. They named the frog Greg, released him in a nearby pond, and even played Crazy Frog as a send-off. That's not a salad. That's a kid's meal with a petting zoo. Somewhere a grocery store is advertising now with 40% more ribbit. Next up, Rome's sexy priest calendar has fake priests. In Rome, a popular souvenir calendar featuring handsome young men dressed like priests is under the spotlight because many of the guys apparently were not actual priests. One man who appeared on the calendar said he was just 17 when the photo was taken and later became a flight attendant. So we went from bless you my child to please put your tray table up. Yeah, nothing says Vatican souvenir like 12 months of men who look like they could forgive your sins or sell you duty-free cologne. Next up, French Open player takes emergency bathroom break. Yes, at the French Open, French tennis player Arthur Guy had to run off the court for an emergency bathroom break during his debut match. The match was in Paris on May 24th, and let's just say this is the one time where serving under pressure had a whole different meaning. Yeah, the score was love, but his stomach was playing sudden death. Next up, here Michigan seniors roll into school on tractors. Graduating seniors at a Michigan high school celebrated Tractor Day by arriving in tractors, ATVs, golf carts, and other farm-style vehicles. One student showed up in a formal tractor because nothing says I'm ready for college like arriving at homeroom at 7 miles an hour. And their senior parking lot looked less like a school and more like Home Depot had a baby with a country fair. Next up on the list, a deer rings a doorbell in New Jersey. That's right, in Sparta, New Jersey, a black bear wandered onto a porch and reportedly triggered a doorbell camera with its snout. No word on whether he was selling cookies, looking for Wi-Fi, or just trying to ask if the garbage was gluten-free. Yeah, you know Jersey's getting wild when even the bears are doing contactless delivery. And the last story here, Cannes give out a Palm Dog Award. At the Cannes Film Festival, a dog-related award called the Palm Dog went to La Pera. Ceremony included actual dogs, because apparently Hollywood finally admitted the dogs are better behaved than the celebrities. The dog couldn't attend, so another dog accepted the award. That's still less confusing than half the Oscar speeches. All right, folks, the news isn't getting dumber. It's just finally being honest, and that is stupid news. All right, this week in 1998, the Supreme Court ruled that Ellis Island is mainly in New Jersey and not New York. Mainly because there were too many Z28 Camaros parked out front. Government figures show prices have jumped since last Memorial Day weekend, from everything from mustard, ketchup, and charcoal. Even the price of hot dogs is up nearly 11%. Who knew pig hooves and hog snouts can cost so much? Researchers have found that GLP-1 weight loss users discussed unexpected side effects by analyzing 400,000 Reddit posts with AI. Some of the side effects included menstrual irregularities, chills, and hot flashes. Smoking hot, not listed, no. This week in 1836, the United States House of Representatives adopted the gag rule. The rule was adopted to restrict needless long discussions in Congress. Well, that clearly worked out well, huh? Well, if World War III breaks out, Gen Z may find themselves having to fight for China because they accepted TikTok's terms of service without reading them. Taylor Swift said catching grief for owning 2 private jets. Yeah, I also own a jet, but the jacuzzi belongs to the apartment complex. The FAA says a record 3.66 million Americans took a flight over Memorial Day weekend. Many people enjoy the bustling anonymity of a JFK, in O'Hare, or in LAX. Yeah, the airport bar is the last place it's socially acceptable to drink at 9 a.m. in the morning. Well, if Iran would just look at how well Germany and Japan are doing, they'd surrender to the U.S. today and start cranking out quality automobiles for us. A spear fisherman is dead after being attacked by a shark on Australia's Great Barrier Reef. Authorities say it's the second deadliest shark attack this month in the waters surrounding the reef. Yeah, somehow Australian sharks just seem a bit scarier than regular sharks. America's longest-running Red Lobster restaurant located in Florida is now closed. The restaurant, which was in Tallahassee, opened in 1970. The location closed its doors on Sunday. Yeah, Red Lobster, the place you went when Olive Garden was too crowded. This week in 1647, the first recorded American execution of a so-called witch took place in Salem, Massachusetts, with the hanging of Exah Young. Yeah, not surprising, back then they didn't have any Karen problems. NASA has announced it intends to build a moon base and a sustained presence on the lunar surface. NASA hopes to have the base up and running within the next 7 years. Yeah, clearly building permits on the moon are going to take forever. Pope Leo is out with the first major theological document of his papacy. He released a more than 230-page long letter to the devout faithful. So it was a letter to the Dallas Cowboys fans, huh? This week in 2016, 96-year-old Dr. Henry Heimlich used the maneuver he invented to save someone from choking for the first time. Too late for the Cleveland Cavaliers, huh? Invasive jumping worms are damaging gardens in New Jersey. Experts say they destroy plants, vegetable gardens, and your lawn. These pests look different than regular worms, with their gray bodies and white collars, and are even snake-like with slithery moves. They've been spotted in the Jersey Shore towns. Yeah, how soon before the locals start calling them Snooki and DJ Pauly D, huh? Local LA historians say last week's Simi Valley fire is the largest fire in Simi Valley ever recorded, and that wasn't started by the Rodney King verdict. Speaking of LA, gas prices are so high in LA that brush fires are carpooling in from Simi Valley. Yeah, you wouldn't think it would work, but researchers say thinking about death can actually help people live happier, healthier, and more meaningful lives. Studies have found that reflecting on mortality can reduce anxiety, increase appreciation for positive moments, and encourage stronger relationship and community connections. Experts say many people fear suffering near the end of life more than death itself, and avoiding the topic can make those fears even worse. Accepting that life is temporary may motivate people to focus on what truly matters, care for themselves, and make the most of their time. Psychologists also say discussing death openly with loved ones or support groups can actually help people feel more prepared and less overwhelmed by it. Well, on the weekend, I always think a lot about Monday, and that's almost the same thing, so... Well, people still plan to drink this summer, but many are doing it more carefully and in moderation, according to a new survey. Nearly half of respondents to a poll carried out in the U.S. said they've become more intentional about alcohol consumption, with younger adults leading the shift. Emotional well-being was the top reason people gave for moderating their drinking, followed by wanting better sleep and preferring quality over quantity. Many also said moderation simply feels like the healthier, smarter approach. The survey found that people are increasingly making personal choices about alcohol rather than drinking because of social pressure. Common moderation strategies included drinking more slowly, eating while drinking, setting drink limits ahead of time, and planning safe transportation home. Yeah, 1 cocktail, 2 orders, and home by 10. The neighborhood barbecue has become a PTA meeting. Well, the city of Santa Clarita, California, is preparing to unveil a major expansion of David Marge Park, complete with a brutal new 116-step outdoor staircase that goes nowhere. While most people hate climbing stairs, fitness-minded locals are already celebrating the cardio challenge online, with many calling it the perfect new workout spot. The staircase is part of an 8-acre renovation. It also adds basketball courts, a baseball field, parking lots, and public art installations. City officials say the new attraction offers residents a unique fitness test with scenic views. The project follows the success of Santa Clarita's nearby 172-step Central Park staircase, which has become a popular destination for daily exercise enthusiasts. The new staircase opens on June 1st. So, the only thing at the top is, exhaustion? Thumbs up to the first person who grinds a rail down that baby. As you no doubt know, Murphy's Law states anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Here are some other laws, all based on observations or rules of thumb that capture some universal truth. Murphy's Law, of course, the more you fear something, the more likely it will happen. There's Brooks' Law, adding manpower to a late project makes it later. Celine's Law says honest communication occurs only between equals. Dykstra's Law says everybody is somebody else's weirdo. Falkland's Law says when you don't have to make a decision, then don't make the decision. Gilbert's Law says the biggest problem of work is that no one tells you what to do. Not a problem I'm currently facing. Hanlon's Razor says never attribute to malice that which is adequately explained by stupidity. Kidlin's Law says if you can write the problem down clearly, the matter is half solved. The Law of Instruments says if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Napoleon's law says never interrupt your enemy when he's making a mistake. Parkinson's law says work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. The Peter Principle, in a hierarchy, every employee tends to rise to his level of incompetence. Siegel's law, a man with a watch knows what time it is. A man with two watches is never sure. The two pizzas law, if you can't feed a team with two pizzas, it's too large. And Wolfson's law, if you put information and intelligence first at all times, then the money keeps coming in. Also, not a problem I'm currently facing. And now it's time for Dweck Did You Know? Eating more slowly could be one of the easiest ways to improve your health. No dieting required. Nutrition experts say taking extra time to chew gives the body a chance to release hormones that signal fullness, helping you naturally eat fewer calories. Studies show by slowing meals down by just 20% can reduce calorie intake by up to 15%. Fast eaters, meanwhile, face higher risks of obesity, high blood pressure, and type 2 diabetes. Slower eating also improves digestion and helps the body process sugar more effectively. Simple tricks for slowing down include putting down cutlery between bites, adding screen distractions, and choosing crunchier, chewier foods that naturally slow eating pace. That's my problem. I eat too fast.
I ain't want that shit to get cold.
All right, here's today's whack facts. According to the Cleveland Clinic, if you regularly fall asleep in less than 5 minutes, you're likely sleep deprived. The ashes of the average cremated person weigh roughly 9 pounds. The storage capacity of a human brain exceeds 4 terabytes. The youngest siblings tend to be the funniest, according to research. The UK is the only country to have territories on all 7 continents. And humans put a man on the moon before putting wheels on luggage. There you go. That comes from the Bathroom Readers Institute, the fact site.
And here's another stupid list.
All right, let's see here. Another list. Why am I always late? I have developed and perfected the rare skill of turning off my alarm in my sleep. Coffee is more important to me than being on time. People drive too slow. I hate where I'm going more than I hate where I've been. It's hard to make a grand entrance when you're on time. I thought you said Friday. That one time I was early for something, I had to wait for all the stragglers to show up. There was an incident. It involved a toddler and a diaper. That's all you need to know. Hey, I'm here. What do you want? And the last one here on the list, I have cats to serve. Well, I did.
Oh God, not another one. Here we go.
Here's a list we came up with weird job negotiation demands. In addition to 2 weeks vacation, I need 2 weeks worth of rolling in at 10 a.m. in my sweatpants. A bag of M&Ms with all the W's removed. A 15-minute nap every half hour. A computer password that doesn't require uppercase, lowercase, special characters, or numbers. I want a company credit card, also a company car, and a company slap shop. Those look cool. A service llama. And 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. All right, there you go. Those are your lists for today.
The word of the day is clocksucker. That person who eats up your time like it's a free buffet and leaves you wondering how it's suddenly dark outside. Talks a lot, says nothing. Needs just 5 minutes for 45.
Here's your highly outrageous, never ever contagious. Don't act morning, horrible school.
For Friday, May 29th, 2026. If today is your birthday, you are a Gemini. Gemini, it's still your season, which means you are legally allowed to be charming, chaotic, and impossible to follow in conversation. Today, you may change your mind 6 times before lunch. That's not indecision. That's premium mental channel surfing.
Hello, Sydney.
Cancer Moonchild. Today, your emotions are doing laps around the house in fuzzy slippers. You may feel nostalgic for something that happened 3 days ago. Avoid texting remember when to people who barely remember where they parked.
Oh no!
Leo, the spotlight finds you today, Leo, mostly because you dragged it over, plugged it in, and yelled everybody look alive. Your charisma is strong, but try not to treat every room like it's an award show. The deli counter does not need an acceptance speech.
What you got?
Virgo, today you'll notice every tiny mistake around you, including crooked picture frames, bad grammar, and someone loading the dishwasher like they were raised by raccoons. Breathe. Not everything needs fixing, except that dishwasher. That's a crime scene.
We are good to go, buddy.
Libra, your goal today is balance, which is hard when one side of you wants peace and the other side wants to send a perfectly worded text that ruins someone's afternoon. Choose grace, or at least wait until after coffee.
I love your perspective. You're absolutely right.
Scorpio, your mystery level is high today. People may ask, "Are you okay?" And you'll respond with a stare so intense it could reset a router. Try using words. Not everything has to feel like a trailer for a psychological thriller.
If my ears could talk, they would say, "You have enriched us both."
Sagittarius, adventure is calling, but so are bills, errands, and that laundry pile that now qualifies as a roommate. Today, aim for a small adventure, like taking a different route home or buying a snack you can't pronounce.
Let me get to the real point.
And Capricorn, today you are focused, driven, and mildly irritated that everyone else isn't operating like a professional spreadsheet. Remember, people are not Excel files, although honestly, some of them could use better formatting.
Alert. Alert.
Aquarius, your weird idea of the day may actually be genius, or it may be something you should not build in the garage without eye protection. The stars support your creativity, but they also recommend reading the warning label.
They are clearly not listening to us, and they never have.
Pisces, your imagination is running wild today. You may daydream so hard you miss an entire conversation and still nod at the correct time. That's talent. Just don't accidentally agree to help someone move.
This place was designed to warehouse the worst of the worst.
Aries. Today, Aries, your confidence is high, your patience is low, and your mouth is already halfway through a sentence your brain has not approved. Try not to start a fight with the self-checkout machine. It has cameras, and honestly, it's winning.
You know there's nothing wrong with a good country station.
And finally, Taurus. The stars say you deserve comfort today. Soft clothes, good food, and absolutely no surprise plans from people who say, "It'll be fun." That's how they get you. Stay home and protect your snacks like a dragon with a Costco membership.
You look like half a butt puppet.
All right, there you go. Those are your horoscopes for Friday, May 29th, 2026. Remember, the stars can guide you, but they will not explain why you opened the fridge 3 times and still forgot what you wanted. And
don't leave home without them.
there you go. That's the show. You've been listening to the Always First Never Last podcast with me, your doomsday host, the incredible edible Mr. Zack Wackolina. You can connect with me at ZackDeWack.com. That's ZackDawack.com, or call 984-DeWack1. That's 984-329-2251. Like the show, follow me or subscribe, and please share this show with your friends. It's free. Thank you to all the awesome wackos, weirdos, reverts, preverts, dingbats, and jellowheads anonymous for listening. I'm out of here like Vladimir. Until next time, and there will be a next time. Don't forget me, I won't forget you. I am Zack DeWack, saying if I'm lying, I'm dying. Grits ain't groceries, eggs ain't poultry, and Mona Lisa was a man. Unless I'm sicker than a dog, I will be back Monday. We'll see you then. Same whack time, same whack channel. Whack out.
We hope you enjoy the show half as much as you would have if it hadn't been twice as good. ZackDeWack.com. Copyright 2026. All rights reserved.
Made, freight, and wait in Georgia.